Tonight on Sunday Politics, we shift focus from those in power to those seeking it, the opposition. In any democracy, the opposition keeps government in check and offers voters a clear choice. In Nigeria, that role has struggled with splits, court fights, and weak coordination. The 2023 elections changed the field. The ruling party faced two major challenges: the PDP and the Labour Party. The results showed energy but also deep cracks. So tonight we ask the hard questions. Are Nigeria's opposition parties ready to govern? To break this down, I'm joined by Paul Ibe, media advisor to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Paul Ibe, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year.
Yes, thank you very much too. Happy New Year. Now, let's start with the basics. You are the spokesman of easily one of the most prominent political figures in Nigeria. You've had to, defend his person and his politics from attacks. You've also had to advance his person and his politics in the public space. How do you manage that?
Well, if you have a bad product, they say it's very difficult to sell a bad product. Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency, former Vice President of Nigeria, is such a good product that it's been more like having tea for me. And because here is a man who, carries little or no baggage. He's well understood. We know where he's coming from. We know his background. And he's a very passionate Nigerian, one that is very accessible, and one that truly loves this country. And he says, and I know for a fact, that is true, that this is a country that has given so much, to him, and he desires of giving back. That explains why Atiku Abubakar, is still present with us. Because ask yourself, here was a man who he had given himself a deadline, and that if he didn't make it, as the head of the customs at a certain age, he was going to leave. And he left, as a deputy comptroller general or thereabout, as at that time, and then went into business and then politics. And we've seen the impact that he has made both in the private sector, which has helped him in the public sector. And that accounts largely for the reason why, former President Olusegun Obasanjo tapped him, as the vice presidential candidate then in 1999, even after he had won an election as the, the governor of, of Kaduna State.
No, Adamawa.
Of Adamawa State, sorry. So, this is a man whose history, is well known. There is no ambiguities about his person.
But then, just as you, as his spokesman, would be expected to say all these things about him, there's also a very huge, school of thought in this country that thinks otherwise of him. Some even, are so caustic. Some of the things people have to say about him. They said he's a serial loser. Some even say he's all fees and no gin. He's just no substance about him. He's just, somebody hungry for power. In fact, some of the statements, coming from the presidency about him, presidency of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is that he is, let me quote, the disgruntled leader of a group of failed politicians that will be soon crushed in the 2027 elections. These are very, very cruel statements. But the people who said mean every word about it. What do you say about that?
Well, Ilyasu, the truth of the matter is that those that say they want to crush, I believe they're going to crush Atiku Abubakar. Atiku has been out of government since 2007, and the man is still looking fresh. He went back to school about 2017 or thereabout, to improve himself. He has a master's degree, and they are not crushing out Abubakar. The truth is that the people that the Tinubu-led administration are crushing are Nigerians. crushing them with poverty, with insecurity, with all manner of these things. So Atiku is not a serial loser. A man is not defined by how many times you fall. It's about your ability to pick up yourself each time you fall, and then you move on. Don't forget, was it Nixon, the American president, how many times that he ran until eventually...
That's Abraham Lincoln.
That's right. Eventually became the president. Don't forget about the late Muhammad Buhari, may his soul rest. So, the fact that Atiku has continued to present himself means that, one, Atiku has something to offer. Two, Atiku has his set skills. And even more importantly, Atiku is fit.
What are those set skills?
Haba. This is a
let's hear it.
This is a man who has run businesses, delivered, dividends to investors, hired people the best, irrespective of where you come from, how you worship. He's surrounded by pan-Nigerian, people. His physician, his chief physician, he's from the Southeast.
And you?
I am from Imo State in the Southeast.
And you are his chief spokesman?
I am his chief spokesman. You see, a man cannot give what he doesn't have. Atiku breeds and lives pan-Nigerianism. I doubt whether there is living, as we speak, a Nigerian who embodies the essence of the Nigerian of our dream. A Nigerian that is inclusive, a Nigerian that accommodates people irrespective of how they worship, where they come from, not the type that promotes division like we have, with the Tinubu administration. Not the type that feels that, certain appointments are only good enough for people from a certain segment, section of the country. That is part of the problem that we have. You see, my brother, when you tell people to go to hell, when you tag people, as they are currently doing, promoting a narrative that it is, people that are aligned, people of the Southeast, that are promoting the American, initiative, to happen on, in Nigeria. What are they doing? It's the same old narrative of trying to blame, the people from a certain section of the country for everything that is wrong, with this country. Instead of addressing the issue for what it is, what is happening in Nigeria is a failure.
But let me just ask you.
Yes.
Atiku, you cannot deny the fact that wherever Atiku is, there's always one controversy or the other following him. For instance, back in Adamawa State, we know the state of issues there. We know what the government there is doing, even though it's not been, directly, pointed at him. But we know, for instance, that some of the measures being taken by the government there is directed at checkmating Atiku's over what they regard as overbearing influence in Adamawa State. Because, some of the issues that have come up is about his what they regard as undue influence in a lot of matters, chieftaincy matters, appointment matters, political matters that are regarded as, beyond what is normal. So they have been checkmating. Also, they've been trying to checkmate him. Also, we also realize that, when during the Buhari administration, he ran the gauntlet of so many accusations of business deals and practices and all that. And again, last but not the least, he has run so many elections, about 3 or 4 or so, and in those elections, he ended up all, the loser. So, what if Atiku is all that you say? Why does he have all these kind of things?
Atiku Abubakar is a very gracious man. Gracious, even in losing an election, and submitting himself to the process of going to the courts, to fight, for what he believed were stolen mandate. And let me tell you, Nigerians have come to a point as we speak. Nigerians are not interested in go to court. That's not what 2027 is all about.
What is it all about?
It's about Nigerians ensuring that they're going to fight for every bit of every vote and defend it.
How does that pan out?
How that pan out is that Nigerians are mobilizing. And thanks to the ADC that has provided an alternative and a viable platform for them to come on board to ensure that all of those shenanigans that characterize the election of the past, where those mandates are stolen, and you know that they are not that they are planning. Already, you heard an APC chieftain who spoke recently, and that Tinubu is going to open the vault, and the governors are going to open their vaults, and he did indicate that at least 3 months of their allocation from Abuja should take care of that. 20,000 naira, naira for naira, dollar for dollar. You heard all of that. You heard the first lady, the former first lady, in your state, who also gave an indication of how they are going to rig the election in
But then you just said a moment ago that ADC is planning. Beyond rhetorics, beyond a lot of statements we've had from ADC chieftains, we have not seen anything on ground. What is ADC doing? It's not just a matter of waiting. We want to see the ADC. Nigerians want to see the ADC as that viable opposition. We are not interested in planning, because the people who constitute the ADC now are seasoned politicians. They should be able to come out with a blueprint, with something that convinces Nigerians that they are the alternative that Nigerians are looking for, if at all that is the case.
You see, no general will give out his war plans to the enemy.
There are so many generals in ADC. There is Atiku, there is Amechi, there is Erufai, there is Peter Obi. How can you get these generals to now give us a plan, an alternative plan for the ADC?
These generals have submitted their authority, their aspiration, whatever it is, they've submitted it to a general-in-chief.
And who is that general?
A 5-star general of the leadership of the ADC. Don't forget that David Mark and Ralph Aregbesola were literally dragged out of retirement. And I tell you that these gentlemen will not, they are not here to make a mess, of the assignment. They understand clearly what the memo is. And it is a historic opportunity for them to put in motion a machinery that will, first of all, rescue Nigeria, from, these urban bandits whose stock in trade is just to...
Now that's very, very harsh. Don't you think so?
No, it is not harsh, my brother. Look at the what's it called? Look at the tax law, for example. That tax law is supposed to be a reform. That means it's going to change a lot of things. But look at what is happening. Yes, look at what is happening. What is being implemented as we speak is a forged document. It doesn't happen anywhere. And they said, no, whatever it is are the errors or the forgery, quote and unquote, is immaterial. No, sir. A comma, a full stop can change the meaning of a sentence. And so as we speak, that document is a nullity. But they are carrying on, because this is the same administration that had a minister for innovation, science and technology and innovation. And they were innovative in forgery. It's all over the place. What about the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs? Where is she? Go and sin no more. And the one of Science, Technology and Innovation. And so you can see clearly that this administration, their signature of this thing is innovation in forgery.
Yeah, I agree with you that around the country, all across the country, there's been a wave of, misgivings about the economic, the social situations, insecurity, all kinds of things, banditry, kidnapping, and the rest of them. But then the Nigerian people, even though at this stage of their disenchantment and disappointment, are looking for concrete steps, concrete opposition. And what they see with the opposition are people trying to jostle for positions, trying to find out who becomes the flag bearer of the party. And a lot of people are sort of hedging their bets that if that the angel we know, sorry, the devil we know is better than the angel we don't know. And ADC, we're in the year that will take us to the election. ADC appears to be taking its time to propose and to sit with Nigerians and tell them, we are that alternative. They seem to be talking about who gets what and what gets what and things like that. How can you convince the Nigerians who are disenchanted and disappointed that you really are the opposition? Because I've not seen any blueprint from you. That's what I'm talking about, and that's what many Nigerians are talking about.
I beg to disagree, sir. It's not the leaders in the ADC that are talking about who gets what, are talking about ticket or no ticket. The people who are talking about ticket are members of the ruling party.
Really?
Oh, yes, sir. What's that name? The Minister of Culture, Arts and Culture, and the Creative Economy, whatever that means, was on, channels, was it yesterday? One had expected that she would use the opportunity to talk about the reforms that have been introduced in the creative economy ministry.
That's Hannatu Musawa.
Of course. But what was she what was the takeaway from that interview? Was talking about permutations of His Excellency Peter Obi, of Atiku Abubakar, and rest of them. What about Minister of Aviation? And while he was busy talking politics and playing politics, the ground crew destroyed $85 brand new aircraft of the APIS airline. If he was alive to his responsibility, he would have known that those people need training and retraining. But they are the ones who are talking about it. The aides of the minister, even Bayo Ononuga, they don't have any other assignment other than to talk about the permutations, who should be on the ticket. Where I come from, and I believe it's the same elsewhere, when a man or a woman cries louder than the bereaved, you better be careful. It may be that man or woman that actually killed the bereaved. And so why would the members of the APC be the ones that will be prescribing, telling the ADC who should be on the ticket? Oh, if you pick this person, we are going to deal with you. Will you tell me, if you are my competitor, is it your responsibility to give me an expo on the things that will give me an advantage over you?
But let me just say it this way. Ask not what the APC can do. Ask what the ADC can do. That is what Nigerians are asking for.
Yes.
What are you guys? What is ADC? ADC, we've seen a lot of movement here and there. We've seen Atiku here, we've seen Mark here.
The problem that we're having is that you and I, and a lot of Nigerians, have not come to terms with the nature of the existential threat that we face. And we're all giving the APC just a pass. The ADC, is presently as we speak, they are trying to overhaul their constitution. There's a committee looking at that. They are formulating their policy.
Are they really ready for the challenges ahead? You have David Mark, a retired brigadier general. You have big wigs. By now, Nigerians should have felt, the power of the ADC. By now, Nigerians should have begin to, connect with the ADC and its political programs and tell us, look, APC has done this, we will do this. We want to hear it from your people, from the people that constitute the APC. We're not just interested in the names. Yes, there have been names, but we want to see the content. Nigerians want to see the content. Then they can begin to make up their mind that this is the alternative we want, alternative against the APC. But there seems to be taking a long time trying to put themselves together. Do they look serious? Are they serious to really, really take the fight to the APC?
It's not the amount of noise that is made that is important. Like I said, the leaders of the ADC understand clearly what this assignment is all about. And there is, quiet work going on. You know, this ruling party prides himself in its ability to, propaganda. They are doing propaganda 2.0 and all of that. It's an Orwellian state that we have, so to say, from the Tinubu administration. Everything that is growing, the economy, the food, all of that is just on paper. But I tell you, the ADC do not want to give advance notice of some of the things. Otherwise, these people will do what? Because already they have an agenda which is to decimate the opposition party. So
with all the big wigs you have in the party?
But look at what is going on. I mean, everybody is standing on the mandate. They have succeeded in conscripting, coercing everybody. All of the people that you see who are getting into, the party, I think it's just for nothing. Never in the history of our political history has the anti-graft agencies been used as a tool of coercion to get people into the ruling party.
Let me get to the brass tacks now. We have insecurity has been raging, even with the help of the Americans. It has not abated. We have hunger in the land. We have poverty. We have economic issues. You've even talked about now about the tax issue, which is controversial. We have right now the world itself is changing, and these are issues that we expect an opposition to say, look, for insecurity, this is how we want to do it. For banditry, kidnapping, economic issues, tax issues, and all that. This is what we want to do. But again, we do not seem to have, coming from the ADC and the opposition, what they need to do. They may not have to tell us everything that they have in the kitty, because as you said, it might be, giving the government in power the expo, but then the people want to hear, because look, that is what is agitating the minds of Nigerians now. We have a party, ADC, we see very big personalities, people experience personalities, but we have not seen any move towards engaging Nigerians. I mean, don't you think you owe Nigerians that kind of engagement and connection?
Yes, the ADC owes Nigerians that level. But we say, let's give them a break. Don't forget that this is a legacy. This is a coalition, party, and they are, the party is being retooled since the coalition leaders embraced it as a platform. It's being retooled. There are a lot of things going on. Like I said, they are formulating the policies, and the engagement they are speaking to, policy-wise, you can't just come on TV and be speaking things that have not yet, gone through the process and been adopted and approved.
What about mobilization, grassroots mobilization?
That is ongoing. That is ongoing as we speak. That is ongoing.
Can you give us a peep into that?
Listen, it's a bottoms-up thing. It's not, like before, when everybody is focused, on Abuja and the rest of it. The strategy is to develop the party from the distance, from the wards, local government, states. And all of that is ongoing as we speak.
Some people accuse you, that's the ADC and the opposition party, but ADC especially, that you are just waiting to see the APC have problems, maybe implosion from within, and that some of the ADC does not feel the challenge to come out and do what it's supposed to do, because some of you are waiting for some of the people coming into APC, or some of the people within APC are, the ADC is waiting for them of them surely to come to ADC because of, if they are not given the right attention in APC. So for that reason, you are just like waiting and not trying to do anything. They will come. We are not, let them come. We are waiting for them, without necessarily doing your own bit, because that to me appears, and to many Nigerians appears, as if you want, your homework to be done for others, rather than go to the people of the country who are actually the voters, instead of waiting for the big wigs who get disenchanted in APC to come to ADC. Do you agree with that? No, that's not true. It's ADC engaged in massive mobilization? Yes. Is the ADC waiting for the APC to implode? No.
Will the APC eventually implode? It is likely it will implode.
You have to tell me more about that. Likely. You mean you are not sure they will implode, or are you trying to hedge your bets?
The chances, I'm not hedging any bet. The chances that they will implode, is there.
And that's what you guys are waiting for, right?
We're not waiting for that. We're not waiting for that. We have gone ahead, of that. The train has left the station.
But let me tell you something. The APC guys are saying in rather guarded ways that, well, how can Atiku and Peter Obi are going to have a lot of problems, in who takes the ticket, and Amechi is there in the wings, and the others are there. So by the time they have, disagreements on who takes the ticket, especially on the zoning factor, on the gentleman's agreement, on whether the power should shift to the south after this or not, and that by then there will be so much bad blood within ADC, and we just have to smile home and leave them with their own wahala, so to speak.
Your enemies will never wish you well. And who are those who are, like I said earlier, who are those who are talking about all of these permutations about His Excellency Peter Obi, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency Rotimi Amechi, and all, other leaders? Who are talking about? It's the APC. They are the ones.
Yeah, but you don't have any response to that, or you feel that you are safe, you are okay with those?
No. See, what is happening is this: the APC is trying to put a knife between the things that hold, the leaders of the ADC together. That is clearly what they are trying to do.
Because they perceive that there are some weaknesses within your setup, and that those weaknesses, because let me refer you to a statement by the president and other, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other, APC bigwigs, that look, and one of them is Akpabio, God's will Akpabio, the Senate president. He said, look, we are not here to make things easy for the opposition. If they don't get their acts together, it's not our fault. In fact, some of them are saying, look, we cannot help them if they cannot get themselves together. And we even prefer that they continue to fight themselves. And that is what the APC hopes that you guys are going to have in the ADC. And by that, they are going to make sure that you continue to have problems, even from within, without they could send, agent provocateurs and fifth columnists within your party to try to take advantage of the fractures within your party. And by that, if you do not get yourselves together, you are likely going to falter as an opposition party, which will be to the disappointment of Nigerians looking for alternatives.
We're not like them. We want President Bola Tinubu to succeed at his assignment. That is an assignment that involves over 200 million Nigerians. We want him to succeed. We want him to de-emphasize politics and do the work of governance. And every day we make prescriptions, policy prescriptions, that will help him. But because we're having a conversation with people, either people who are deaf or people who are set, in their ways, and whatever it is that they are doing, that they claim is leading to an economic boom, it's all BS. It's not true. So we want them to succeed.
And
so
if they succeed,
so if they succeed,
then you have no,
sir. That's
no dog in the fight.
No, it's still up to Nigerians to do, because no matter how well they have done or they claim, to do, we are not going to preside over dead Nigerians, are we? I mean, look at what is happening. The Northwest, the Northeast, the Southeast, killings all over the place. No, but that's not our objective. We want them to succeed on this assignment, because even if we're going to take over government, and of course I know we will, we are not going to be presiding over dead Nigerians.
Are you that optimistic?
Of course I am.
Why? What makes you optimistic?
How bad? I mean, look at the distance. It is there. Nigerians are hungrier than ever been before. They are more insecure. They are more divided along all of our fault lines, ethno-religious, social, and all of that. I mean, look at it is clear. It is clear that Nigerians can't wait to see the back.
But come to think of it, do you really think, in all honesty, in all sense of honesty, that ADC can be that alternative? I will tell you why. We all talk about the issues in the oil and gas industry and the the inability to square the circle. And we all hear about, issues that we thought had gone with the promulgation, or rather the signing of the PIA, Petroleum Industry Act, and the deregulation of the industry. But we see things happening. And let me even quote your principal, Atiku, who said, look, when I come to power, at the last elections, he said, when I come to power, I'm going to sell the NNPC to my friends. How does that differentiate him from what is happening now? If he comes to power in this dispensation.
Let me correct you, please. I mean, that interview was a banter between His Excellency Atiku Abubakar and the reporter. And he made that joke. And that was mischief, it's taking too far about selling it to, to his friends and all of that. But what is playing out now? As we speak, what is going on? Right now.
You tell me.
You are a Nigerian. You live in this country.
I do.
That,
because I'm trying to reconcile.
This administration has initiated a process to sell some of these assets. I mean, these things are. None of those refineries have worked in Kaduna, in Port Harcourt, in Warri, all over the place. But yet there is billions naira. People are being paid salaries for doing nothing. So why must you keep holding on to those assets? Dangote has shown clearly that this is the way to go. You see, government has no business running business. Government should create the enabling environment for business.
So is that why Atiku said he was going to sell it to his friends?
He didn't say he was going to sell it to his friends.
But he just alluded to it. I
told you that was a banter between him and the reporter that was this thing. It was a joke taken too far.
Yeah, but
that should not be the takeaway from that interview. The takeaway is that all of those moribund assets need to be disposed with so that they don't continue to be a drain.
And that's why people say, well, if Atiku comes, he will also be as capitalistic, rapaciously capitalistic as Tinubu, because Atiku, would sell those assets that have at least given Nigerians some kind of succor. And then if you now give Nigerians, or rather, if I vote Atiku into power, he will come with the mind of, disposal of crucial national assets. And so in that respect, how does he become different from Tinubu, whom we are now pillaring and saying he is, selling off Nigeria's assets, he is mismanaging the economy and crucial national assets. So what really is the difference between Atiku and Tinubu anyway?
An asset that is a drain on national resource is a liability, it's not an asset.
Is the problem selling it, or is the problem checking the corruption in it?
There are things to be done. I mean, all options are on the table. I mean, don't forget that, of course, you are outside of government and you're looking in. You understand? So whatever it is, the options that he adopts, the truth of the matter is that he recognizes that these assets have become liabilities and we need to do something about them.
And what are you going to do about them?
We need to ensure that these assets become an asset. We need to ensure that these assets are put to good use. We need to ensure that jobs are created through these assets.
But Atiku, as vice president, when he first came in, was given the task of handling the economic sector of this country under Obasanjo. And at the end of the day, some of these assets that were sold off have still not, been able to perform based on his projection, based on his handling of those assets. So how do we now, again, give him those assets again, or provide him with the opportunity to do those things when he couldn't do it properly in those days?
No, it depends on what you mean. Properly, that's subjective. How do you mean by properly? A lot of those assets are up and running. Yes, like in every process, some of them may not do as well as anticipated, but a lot of those assets that have been sold are there, they are thriving.
Yeah, and some of them, like you said, look, some of these assets were sold, first of all, cheaply. Secondly, the disposal and disposal of those assets were not transparent. And, they were just, and at the end of the day, they ended up not doing what they're supposed to do. So isn't that a question mark on even Atiku himself if he's trying, if he wants to come back to power? Does he not also bear responsibility, vicarious responsibility over some of the issues in the economy now? Is he not part of it? Because that's what people are saying. Look, you are part of the government. You are also given a responsibility in the past. Look at what you've done. And can you now tell us that you are a different person? Are you a different Atiku that we know? Are you even better than Tinubu?
The work of the National Council on Privatization, of which Atiku was chairman, was signed off by the president.
Olusegun Obasanjo.
That's right. Every work that he did. So it wasn't as if the council existed on its own. Listen, let's not belabor this issue. The truth of the matter.
No, we have to, because
listen. A lot of the assets, so-called assets that we have, they are not their liabilities. And we need to do something elsewhere. As some of these things are even sold for $1.
Symbolically.
Oh yes, because you recognize that when they get into the hands of the people who understand the job of running business, they will turn it around. I mean, I just told you about Dangote and his refinery, and we have 4, which even combined do not even meet the output of Dangote, and those ones are there. We are paying salaries to people who are doing nothing.
But look at it this way: during the time of Obasanjo, of which Atiku was the vice president, a key member of the National Economic Council and all that, and also a key member of the administration, licenses for building of refineries were given out to a number of Nigerians. They picked it up, but they didn't build the refineries. And of course, the other refineries, the government-owned refineries, were also there, and they didn't come up to scratch. But during the Tinubu administration, that's APC administration of Buhari and Tinubu, Dangote is up and doing. Why didn't do that? Why didn't Atiku bring his business acumen to be able to, ensure that refineries were built at that time that he took over? He was in charge of the National Economic Council and the principal business operator of the government at that time.
That administration did something about the refinery, which was overturned, by the administration that took over from them. The sale of, of those refineries. You are aware of that.
Yes, yes.
So you cannot hold Obasanjo or Atiku responsible. They took an action. Unfortunately, the administration that took over from them, reversed, that particular sale. Listen, if you look at the value of those refineries then, and that was, they left government 2007, that's 19 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at the value. It is zero value. So if you sell them for $1, the truth of the matter is that that model that you have cannot even efficiently, process and give you, all of the derivatives that you want, fuel and all of that. As it is a scrap. It is a liability.
So now let's look at it. The ADC, which is the opposition party, which has gathered all these bigwigs, political bigwigs of yesteryears and today, are telling us to give them the benefit of the doubt. They are telling us that, yes, the APC has failed, the APC has done this, and that. So, do you have a sense, can you tell us, really, do you want to give Nigerians the hope that the ADC, which is more or less now the leading opposition party, the budding leading opposition party, can APC wrestle power realistically from can ADC wrestle power realistically from the APC, given that the APC is in control of all the machineries of government? They are virtually, the other party, PDP, which is the opposition, the main opposition party, has now been decimated, so to speak, and also governors and all principal political figures are making a beeline to the APC. Can you, in all honesty, believe and tell Nigerians that you can present a better alternative to the Nigerian people as ADC, as opposition?
Ilyasu, it is not about what the leaders of the ADC are saying. It is about what Nigerians are living. And Nigerians have said it. ADC, it's a memo, a Nigerian memo to, the leaders of the party. So Nigerians are living in insecurity. Nigerians are hungrier, they are poorer. Nigerians are more divided. All of the fault lines have become craters. Ethnic, religious, tribe, bigotry is a state policy.
You put that on the doors of APC?
Who else? Whose door are you going to put it on? It is APC, even before it came on board, that promoted religion as a major distinct. Of course, it's been subtly there, but they have made it a policy, a state policy. Tribe, the same thing. I mean, never in the history of our country have we had a Muslim ticket.
Is that wrong? What's wrong about that?
The people that promoted it are now regretting it because it has not put food on the table. It's about skill. What you don't have, you don't get. I mean, look at the trial and error of this administration. In the morning, they announced an ambassador who was not even one of the 63 or thereabout that had been screened.
Evidence,
in the morning.
More evidence of...
In the afternoon, it was an error. How can it be an error? A man who was never screened. How can you be promoted from class 5 to 6 when you were not even in class 5? You're not even a member of that class. This is an administration that has announced ministers, people who are, appointed people who are late, dead people. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about.
I'm listening to you.
So you can see the level of incompetence and cluelessness, just trial and error. They have had this too often. So it can't be a mistake. It is a signature, of this administration.
And how do you intend to correct these things? How do you intend to... Because it's not just enough to say we're going to correct it.
Listen.
You have to connect with Nigerians to trust you. And seeing that some of these guys were part of past administrations that have brought us to this pass, how can you continue, convince Nigerians that the ADC, with all this, former that, connect Nigerians and convince Nigerians that you truly mean to be an alternative?
Inclusiveness is a tool for national unity and stability. Under an IDC administration, I know for a fact, because of the trajectory, the journey that the various leaders have made, that Nigerians, wherever you may come from, you'll be invited. Look at the Obasanjo administration, for example. There are Nigerians with set skills all over the world. They will be part of it. The best of us will be given the mandate, will be given the responsibility, to reconstruct, to rebuild this mess that the Tinubu administration has made.
Is that a fact?
Sorry?
Is that a fact?
Fact.
Is that a fact of...
It is.
Do you really have that as a principle?
It is going to be a fact. And young people and women are also going to be given responsibilities.
What kind of responsibilities?
Responsibilities to be able to be part of government, to be able to implement the policies of government.
Now, in the coming months, we are now in a decisive year for politics in this country, and there's going to be a lot of alignments and realignments. How would the opposition feature? How would the opposition organize itself in this scenario to be able to connect with Nigerians, to be able to tell Nigerians, look, we are here. We are here to wipe away your tears. We are here to be the alternative, to bring succor to you. Because that is the critical factor in the politicking that would commence in the next within this year. So how can we get that sound bite from the ADC?
Look, you see, we are not the leaders of the ADC are not reinventing the wheel. And you see, there are men and women that have been part of these societies. And we have seen them at work. I mean, look at His Excellency Peter Obi, for example. I mean, his frugality will come to play in any government, whatever role that is ascribed to him.
Is frugality really a sine qua non for government? When you have a government, when you have a country that is that you want to reflect?
It's because you have gotten used to President having over 100 cars. You have not even factored in the fuel, the diesel, the driver, the security, all of that. Listen, you cannot be telling us to make sacrifices when you're living large, when you're cruising in what's it called? A ship that was paid for. Forget all of the things that they try to, the narrative and all of that. Those are waste. There's too much waste in the system. Otherwise, why will you scrap the BETS? I think it's there's a program, an education program, scholarship program between Nigeria and some countries, including China and a couple of them. And our students, our children, are there. In school. Yes, I think it's BET.
Beautiful external trade. External.
Yes, I think it's bilateral education, like whatever it is. And then you scrap that program. And our students are stranded there in those countries where they are. Some of them are gotten into, in things that do not, represent, who we are as a nation. And you're talking about, because of waste, education that is supposed to be a major force for change.
So give me a glimpse, for instance, of what the opposition, if it comes to power, will do to education, will do to the power sector, will do to, the social and economic situation in the country, will do to. Just give me a glimpse. Give me a glimpse, because these are the key drivers of Nigerian society, Nigerian life, and
Ilyasu,
economics.
If I sit here now, in all honesty,
a glimpse, I said,
and tell you anything, it's just because, it's just, I don't want to go ahead of what is being formulated by the policy.
But time is not on your side.
Time, listen, cook the food. Let it be well cooked before you serve it.
You may not have people to eat it.
Let it be well served before you serve it. And that is ongoing. Listen, let's also not behave like the proverbial tortoise that had been, in a pit, for very long. And when a rope has been thrown to it to get it out, of the hellhole where it is, and it's beginning to say, you guys should be, do quickly because, it's smelling, down here where I am. I believe that Nigerians who gave this memo, who gave this assignment to the ADC leaders, recognize exactly what this assignment is all about. And it needs to be done and done well. So once the policies, the implement, if it's formulated and the rest of it, they'll be pushed out. So whatever I tell you now here probably may be speaking from the point of view of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, whom we know has always been prepared, had policy, but whatever policy that he has now has to be married with the policy of the other leaders of the party. That is going on right now. Please, I beg you, give us some time and we will serve you.
Thank you very much, Paul Ibe. It's been very engaging talking to you and, unpacking some of the issues that the opposition is confronted with. And we believe that before very soon, as you said, Nigerians will begin to see the hand, so to speak, of the opposition. It's been long in coming. I think we should be able to see their hand because, Nigerians cannot wait for that. Thank you very much. Viewers, that's how we end this program with Mr. Paul Ibe, the media advisor to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. This is how we end it up, and be sure to link up with us tomorrow for the other programs. Thank you. Good night.